Hello and welcome back to my show. My name is Carolyn. I am a creative entrepreneur and retired comedian who works in the startup, tech, and VC world. Today we're gonna make a little bit of a silly episode, but I hope that you enjoy it as much as I did making it. I'm gonna be talking about the differences between small businesses, franchises, and startups within the context of Gilmore Girls and Luke's Diner. So if you want to learn more about the differences between these different types of businesses and or see how different characters within the Gilmore Girls world would transform Luke's Diner, then I think you need to grab a coffee and get ready for some witty one-liners because we're gonna have some fun today. So today I wanted to address a question that I get asked a lot, which is what is the difference between small businesses and startups? And I included franchises in here too because I also feel like we need to talk about big business separate from startups and franchises, especially when talking about Luke's Diner and different food-oriented companies. What is the difference between small businesses, startups, and franchises? It all has to do about scale. Now, what do I mean by scale? When people talk about scaling their businesses or what scale means in a business sense, they typically are talking about how they can grow their business either financially or with their customer base. Are you planning on scaling it to just within your neighborhood or within your city or within your country or within the whole entire world? Where are your customers located and just how big can you grow it? That's what it means to scale a business. So the more you can scale your business, the more likely you're going to be financially profitable or reach more customers. Let's take a look at Luke's Diner now, or at least within the concept of the Gilmore Girls era from Luke's perspective.
Luke's?
Good afternoon. I'm calling for Mr. Luke Daines.
This is Luke Daines.
Please hold for Mr. Gilmore.
What?
You've had the company for a few years and everybody in town loves it because of your phenomenal coffee and just straight out like fabulous vibes.
Breathe in deep, folks. Smells like fall.
Get out, Taylor.
Why?
Just a code I live by.
Oh, you.
You regularly make enough money to build a salary for yourself and your employees. You are able to invest some of that money into your own business, and you're always able to pay your rent or mortgage or taxes or whatever your expenses are. This is a classic small business. Definitions of small businesses vary, but Google and Wikipedia say small businesses are privately owned corporations, partnerships, or sole proprietorships which have fewer employees and or less annual revenue than a regular-sized business or corporation. Like many small businesses, Luke's Diner is able to make a small profit, bring a whole lot of joy to everybody in town, and makes a really strong impact on the town of Stars Hollow itself. The goals for Luke's Diner are primarily to maintain the shop, help it grow in different ways that it needs to, make basic repairs, repainting the space, or just to interfere on whatever Taylor's latest shenanigans are.
What is it, Taylor? I have conducted a thorough investigation of all the people who may have inadvertently been witness to the phony murder at my store last night. What are you going to do about it, Luke?
About what?
About the results of my investigation.
Absolutely nothing, but thanks for the info.
So are you going to act?
Yes, I am. I'm gonna act like you never came in here.
Oh, you are impossible. You are impossible!
And of course, adding new items to make the menu a little bit more interesting. Whether your small business is a small candy and ice cream shop, or a bookstore, or a diner a little bit more like Luke's, you can make a really big difference within your community and just in running a business for yourself. Everyone is paid and happy, and really it just becomes part of the owner's lifestyle. We need small businesses to thrive in our small towns and cities across the country and the world. It makes such a big difference when it comes to the local economy, innovation in general, and just making our lives just that much more interesting. However, if you're looking at Luke's Diner or any business that you are running and you want to grow it some more, what you'd want to do is find ways to scale it. Right now, as a small business, Luke's Diner is supporting Stars Hollow, but if you try to scale it into something bigger, then you're going to get substantially more sales and substantially more customers. Let's meet Richard.
So, have you put much thought into franchising?
Franchising?
That diner of yours.
Richard loves Luke's Diner. He thinks it's got a ton of charm, a really solid business model and thinks that people all over the world will love it too because of its brand.
I am going to assist him in franchising his diner.
Richard, that hirsute lout is not capable of running a complex business.
At least then, if this insane relationship between him and Lorelei continues, we can legitimately take him to places like the club. At least on holidays.
Richard Gilmore thinks that Luke's Diner's brand is its real selling point. I mean, who doesn't want to go to a cute diner chain with a handsome yet grumpy manager and the best coffee in the world? I mean, you know you want it. Richard ends up building a business plan and realizes that with a relatively small investment,
You'll need an investment banker. Just ran into Herb Smith in the clubhouse. Best banker in the business. I'll give him your number.
that Luke's Diner could expand into a franchise and expand into several more or thousands more locations across the country, New England, or around the world.
Now's the time to jump. There are opportunities abounding in real estate right now.
Well, no, I haven't.
I'd concentrate on the eastern seaboard first. Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts. I'd start with 5 to 7.
Diners?
Something manageable.
So what's a franchise exactly? Franchising is actually based on a marketing concept which organizations frequently use as a strategy to expand businesses. Think of a company like McDonald's. Founder of McDonald's built the first store, menu, business model, and most importantly, the brand of McDonald's, the yellow arches, the phenomenal French fries, and those just crispy chicken nuggets. Actually, I think they only had burgers when they started, but the chicken nuggets, man, give me the nuggies. Individual McDonald's locations aren't what make McDonald's McDonald's. The brand of McDonald's, the Happy Meals, the type of food that they have in every location, and the marketing around that, the story that McDonald's tells. That's what's valuable about McDonald's. The fact that McDonald's has thousands of locations, maybe millions? Probably thousands. Thousands of locations all around the world with roughly the same or similar products, and that everybody knows what is McDonald's selling point. Once somebody, say the founder of McDonald's or say Richard Gilmore, develops the brand, develops the business model, and figures out what's on the menu and what every store is going to be like, the franchisor is able to license that brand and sell franchisees, entrepreneurs who want to open their own store or multiple locations of that store, to build their own version of McDonald's. Or in this case, Luke's Diner. As long as they pay certain fees, comply with the rules, buy their machines, products, or whatever from the franchisors, in return, the franchisee is able to pay the fees, buy products, or whatever it is they need to do to comply with, the agreement that they make with the franchisor. They're able to make and run their own McDonald's wherever it is that they want in the world. Now, our favorite and always enterprising Richard Gilmore sees an opportunity here.
Once the first 7 are a go, shoot for the moon. National expansion. Set up a public corporation, issue an IPO.
Yeah, sure, an IPO. I gotta set up one of those.
He recognizes how many people loves Luke's Diner and wants to spread that love all around the world. He thinks that he can sell the Luke's Diner brand. With a little VC or bank investment, Richard thinks that they can open multiple locations across the country. And by having other business owners open their own Luke's Diners, they can cut down their costs substantially, while still making a lot of dough, of course. Richard thinks that by taking on that extra risk, that Luke's Diner could make substantially more money and spread that diner love across the world. This diner does have some inherent risk, as does any strategy for starting a business. And there's always the possibility that Luke's Diner's brand could be negatively affected by different franchises across the country. Say if one of the owners really sucks for some reason, or just isn't nearly as handsome as good old Luke. Or that Taylor could open 5 of his own Luke's Diners just to drive Luke insane.
You don't have to yell, Luke.
You put a giant window in my wall.
So what?
A giant window right here. You can see my entire diner. And when I'm in my diner, I can see your whole stupid store.
I don't understand why yours is a diner and Mine is a stupid store.
Though granted, I think he may have a better grasp on the Luke brand than anybody else.
Look at you. All you need is 6 dancing penguins and Mary Poppins floating in the corner to bring back 2 of the worst hours of my childhood.
I don't think you had a childhood. I think you came out a bitter, surly killjoy.
However, there is more than just one way to expand a business, and Logan Huntsberger, I hear, has a brilliant idea.
That clothing is going to interfere with the integrity of our event, and you agreed not to interfere with the integrity of our event.
Isn't this the point of being young? It's your choice, Ace. People can live 100 years without really living for a minute. You climb up here with me, it's one less minute you haven't lived. You trust me?
In omnia paratus!
You jump, I jump, Jack.
In omnia paratus!
I really should have confirmed that those potatoes were okay.
Logan understands that Luke does not want to franchise his business. He cares too much about the brand and his individual store to want to open several different locations with a ton of risk, and who knows which tailors are going to open them across the country.
Turn of the century soda shop. It's just the kind of wholesome hang today's teens need to keep them off the streets.
And our streets are so wild and out of control.
If you ask me, yes.
But Logan also thinks that Luke's Diner has a ton of potential, but this potential is actually online. He decides to create a Luke's Diner startup. Now, startups are companies built by ambitious entrepreneurs to seek, develop, and validate scalable business models, at least according to Wikipedia and Google. Nowadays, lots of people think that startups need to be technical. And granted, nowadays, a lot of really popular ones are. But they don't have to be. The key to the startup is how we started this video: scale. Startup founders believe that they have disruptive ideas that are going to be transformative in an industry, and that they can scale these businesses to be world businesses, not just Stars Hollow stores. So what's Logan's startup idea? Honestly, it could be anything, but for the case of this video, and seeing that it's Logan, I'm inclined to believe that Logan would go completely overboard, and that Logan's startup would be a VR experience where you are able to go and buy virtual Luke's Diner coffees with a personalized cryptocurrency that you can only use in the Luke's Diner experience, and on top of that, get into fights with an animated Luke who's powered by AI and is able to personalize all of your arguments with you so that they are as harsh as possible.
It's basically MySpace.
Okay, so that's not super realistic, but I needed an example, and this was the silliest one I could come up with. It made me laugh.
It's a web-based interactive media platform. The idea is to build on the web presence we already have and then turn ourselves into a user-generated media hub where the members can share videos, articles, ideas, anything.
Logan's dream is that this company will transform diners and the restaurant experience everywhere, and reinvigorate the stale diner industry. Plus, he's hoping that Luke's Diner Coin will destroy Dogecoin next quarter. Okay, this may be too silly, but the point is he wants to build a transformational company with exponential potential and with hot buzzwords like crypto, AI, and VR.
First things first, what the hell is that?
Plus all of his connections with VCs in New York and Silicon Valley. He's confident that he can get the funding for this, even if it's a terrible flop. But yeah, most startups aren't this silly. I just had trouble coming up with an idea for one, which is because it is hard to come up with a truly unique and transformative idea that's actually good. But hopefully, I hope this illustrates the difference between a small business like Luke's Diner, which serves customers within Stars Hollow, and a really out there wild startup like Logan's that is transformative and has the potential to make an exponential amount of money around the world.
That's a win-win. They give us a foothold in new media. We give them a huge influx of capital, which they need. Believe me, when it comes to debt versus equity, they're screwed. They have no liquidity, huge expenses, zero revenue. I mean, the target advertising potential alone. What are you staring at?
you, Mr. Debt versus Equity.
So I was gonna end the video there, but I realized that Luke wouldn't be interested in any of these options. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with innovating within a small business setting. So here's part 4, the online brand, aka small business 2.0.
Welcome back, Rory.
I'm not back. Welcome back, Rory. I'm not back.
It's about civil liberties. It just happens to be about pot.
Hey, April, go to law school.
Lawyers are fascists.
I could have been a contender.
You're still a contender.
Now, if you know Luke, you know that none of these ideas are particularly appealing, and he turns both of them down immediately. Creating a franchise is not his style, and Logan's bananas ideas are a little too out of this world for him. However, something happens after the Gilmore Girls revival from a few years ago. When Rory's book comes out, audiences love it, and tourists start to flood Stars Hollow like crazy to go see the Dragonfly Inn, Luke's Diner, and even Taylor's candy shop and grocery store. Droves of tourists start swarming everywhere. Now, Rory feels guilty, which is understandable. She doesn't mean to cause any more stress to everybody else. But at the same time, she also sees an opportunity. With the help of tech-savvy April, they decide to create an online brand for Luke's Diner. They build a website and start selling Luke's Diner's coffee to customers from all over the world who just want a little taste of Stars Hollow. Plus other merchandise like t-shirts, mugs, all of the above, etc., etc. With a little help from Lorelai, they also start posting funny videos on Instagram stories and on TikTok just to get a little extra attention and marketing. This helps turn Luke's Diner into a little bit more of a tourist attraction, but not too much so, and gives them a little bit more flexibility when it comes to running promotions, like getting customers to stay at the Dragonfly Inn. Now, Luke's not super thrilled because it's extra work and it's not really the point, but he does see that the scale of his small business has grown a lot, and it's made more opportunities for Rory and April. Like a startup, Luke's Diner's merchandise now has the ability to sell to customers from all over the world, but unlike a startup, they're not doing anything super revolutionary. They're not game-changing anything different. They're just selling a few new products. It's still a small business, but with a little bit of a bigger customer base, and potentially a brand that maybe Rory, April, and Jess could grow upon from there. So what's better? Startups, franchises, small businesses, or online brands? In the end, it really just depends on the owner, the founder, whoever is running the company. There's really no right or wrong answer. It's all just based off of the goals that you want to accomplish. Luke likes his diner the way it is, because it's more than just a diner or just a business. It's home. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I originally was just going to do a video about the difference between a startup and a small business, and then I got the Luke's Diner idea and I got so carried away. So I hope you enjoyed it. It makes things a little bit more fun and interesting anyways. So if you liked this video, please consider liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment down below. Again, I'm a brand new YouTuber. I've only been here for like a month and can really use any love and support that you guys have. And yeah, if you ever want to check out any future videos in the future, and the future, Back to the Future.
Next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future.
I post on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I can't wait to see you there in the future. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.